This is a 1991 Toyota MR2 Turbo. Now, just about every part of this car that you can replace has been replaced with an upgrade. It is very fast, and you will also notice that it has had a pretty extensive wide body kit put on it as well. Couple that with the Ferrari rear diffuser and center exit exhaust, and this actually feels like a baby Ferrari. But this video is not about this car. No, today's video is inspired by the person who also inspired my outfit and the way that I am talking. Doug Demuro has started a new online auction site that promises to be a place for automotive enthusiasts to buy their cars. This is my 91 MR2 Turbo, and it is my baby. And I felt like the only true proper way to test this website was to sell my favorite car. Now, I have set up a little bit of a guideline for myself, and that is that I have got to do whatever Cars and Bids tells me to do. So if they give me a price to list the car at, that's the price we're gonna list it at. If they tell me to take pictures a certain way, that's what we're gonna do as well. Everything that I do will be based on the recommendation of the staff at Cars and Bids. And we will get to see if, one, do they know what they're doing? And two, is there even a place for a website like Cars and Bids on the internet? So with that, I'm going to un-Doug Demuro myself because it is Alabama and two shirts just does not work. And then I will come back with my normal voice and my normal attire, and we'll discuss where we go from here. I am not affiliated with Cars and Bids at all. I don't know Doug, I don't know anybody that works there. I just think this is something that could be really useful for me because basically every car I've ever bought in my entire life has been an enthusiast car, and as a result has been very hard to sell. Just to give you a quick example, we built that C10 earlier this year, the budget C10, and I put it on eBay Motors, which was kind of my go-to for enthusiast cars for a long time. And what's happened to me with the C10, and it has happened with two cars before the C10, is the person bids on the car and there's really no penalty for them bidding if they don't have money. And then the auction ends and they don't have money, and so they disappear and don't respond to you, and then you're left with this car, and all of the other people who bid that were interested in the car are no longer interested in the car because it feels like a scam when you contact them and say, hey, the other guy didn't pay, do you want to buy the car for this amount? It is just a mess, and I've always really disliked it, and that's why I typically sell local for basically everything. So my hope is that Cars and Bids can fix that solution by kind of narrowing its target audience. Now, at the end of this video, I'm gonna come back after all of this is said and done, after the car has been sold on the website, I'm going to give Cars and Bids a Doug score. So I'm gonna go over all the quirks and features of the site, as well as if I think it's a good site to sell your enthusiast car, and if I will be selling more cars on there. This is my test for me and for you to see if Cars and Bids is any good. Let's go.
4 to 6 weeks later.
What's up? It's me from the future. So it took a little longer to sell the car than I thought, and so instead of kind of stringing you along that whole process, I thought I'd just summarize it for you. The way that it works is you submit your car for like a review. It's like 18 pictures, a description, modifications, maintenance, all that stuff. And then you have to be approved, which answers the first question I had about this is, how does Cars and Bids make sure that the cars they sell are all interesting, enthusiasts, you know, exciting cars from the 80s to today? And they vet every single one. You have to be approved to sell on this site. So I think that them limiting the cars they sell is probably one of their biggest strengths, but it's not their only strength. They have another one. So in a couple of days, it took me about 3, your car will be accepted, or I guess declined. Now, after it's accepted, they send you another form with a lot more comprehensive questions. Things like service records, the modifications done to the car in like a specific list, a description of the car, all kinds of information. Basically everything any buyer would want to know, they ask you those questions, and then they ask for pictures. Now, when I normally sell a car, I'll post something like 12 pictures of the car to be sold. They asked me for 50 pictures. So I sent them everything, and then again, I had to wait. This time the wait took about a week, maybe a week and a half, before I was contacted again. At this time I was assigned I think what they call an auction manager, and basically it's someone who's going to build your auction and help you out through the process. It all works through this chat box on the site, and so anytime you need help, you just go into the chat box and ask them questions. And I was a little skeptical of this. I felt like I might be talking to a robot at first, but turns out they're real humans. So in the middle of all this, I was conversing with my listing manager, and they basically told me that I was asking too much money. So I set my reserve at $8,000 originally, and they said, look, we really want to make sure our cars sell, so if you drop it down to $5,000, then, you know, we'll be able to list it and everything will be fine, which is way lower than I wanted to sell the car. But if you remember at the beginning of this video, I am testing this site out. So I decided, if they tell me to do something, I'm going to do it. And I said, yep, if that will get more eyes, then I will go with $5,000. And then they responded with, if you want the most eyes, you need to go no reserve. So I did. So at this point, I'm really trusting Cars and Bids and hoping that they know what they're doing, because we're all in. Now, it was still like another week, I think, before the auction went live. So this was a bit of an issue for me because I was trying to sell the MR2 in a week, and we're 3 weeks in and the auction still isn't live, but I finally had a date, which was a week from when everything got accepted and squared away. The only difference, I think, in this and any other auction site I've ever used is they have a comment system, so it's kind of like social media in a way, so people can comment on your sale, they can talk to you, interact with the seller, and I like that. I was able to answer questions really quickly, and all the questions are public, so if somebody has a question about the MR2, it's likely more people are going to have that question, and you answer it once and then it's answered. So that was cool, but the rest of it was pretty normal, and it went basically as I thought it would. Well, the car sold, and Cars and Bids congratulated me for selling my car, and then they sent me the contact information of the buyer, and they sent him my information as well, which was great. He was able to call me almost immediately after winning the car, and we got everything squared away. Cars and Bids is not like a broker. They're not a dealership. They are a service, right, between two individuals. And so after your auction's over, their job's done. They don't have to do anything else. It's up to you. It's just like selling a car on Facebook or in person, whatever. And so that's the part that always really stresses me out. And it's the part that I really hate about selling cars, specifically selling cars sight unseen. There's a lot of stuff that goes into that. There's a lot of trust that has to happen between both buyer and seller. There's a lot of stuff going with exchanges, especially when the car is going far away. And in our case, the car was going to Texas. So I received some paperwork from the buyer, and it was a little bit unsettling. As you guys know, I've had my channel stolen from me before, and after that, I'm kind of leery of any sort of contract or paperwork. So there was some weirdness in the bill of sale and some weirdness in what the buyer was requesting, and I didn't really like it. And so I messaged Cars and Bids, kind of just seeing if they would help me. And my auction manager responded and said, yeah, I think you're right. I think it's okay for you to be kind of weirded out by this. Change the bill of sale to say this, add this, remove that. That will protect you. It'll protect him. And getting that kind of advice from the person whose job was honestly over was awesome to me. It was amazing to be able to ask somebody who understands selling cars online, who does it every single day, and get feedback that was usable and useful. And it worked out. I amended the bill of sale to say the things that my sales manager from Cars and Bids told me to say. The buyer was totally cool with that. We were able to move on with the process. It took about a week for the car to get picked up, and it made its way to Texas. This is it. Yeehaw. This is the last drive in my MR2 Turbo. Had this car for 5 years. It was like my last purchase as a single man. And here it goes. Let's go meet the truck. I'm gonna have to turbocharge another car though. I cannot live without a turbo car. It's just the best. That's a wrap. It's going on the trailer, off to Texas. It's officially no longer mine. The car's sold, and that means that I can build a very sick 3-piece wheel for this thing, which is awesome. And the car's off to another owner that is going to love it and take care of it and keep it running for another 100,000 miles, I hope. So what is the verdict? Well, here's my honest opinion. It took a lot of time. Now, if that's just what it is, then okay, that's cool. But it did take me a month, a little over a month to sell my car. I started the process on August 4th, and the car was gone from my house on September 8th, maybe. So it did take a little over a month to sell the car, which is a lot of time in a sense, but at the same time, then the car was sold and gone. It's not like it was listed for a month, it was listed for a week. It just took a month to kind of create that listing and get the auction lined up into the Cars and Bids kind of platform. Now, another thing they do is they try to put your car in when there's not competing cars around it so that you get more attention drawn to your car, which I do like, but it does take time. So I think that if it was a little bit of a faster process, it might be better, but if that's not possible, it's not possible. The next reason, it doesn't have a 9 or a 10 yet, and this might be unfair, but it's just what it is the customer service. And the customer service isn't bad. It's actually really, really great. The best experience, honestly, that I've ever had online as far as selling anything, but it's specifically cars. I've normally been just left high and dry. I've had people not pay, not show up to get the car, and the seller or the site that sells is just like, sorry, too bad, we did our job. And that's not a fun place to be. And Cars and Bids doesn't take that approach. They take the approach of we're going to take care of our customers and make sure that these cars get sold and taken care of and everybody feels good about what happens on our platform, which I love. Now, the only reason I haven't given it a 10 yet is because I need some time. This platform will no doubt grow and get bigger and get more complicated to manage. And if a year, 2 years, 3 years from now, the customer service is still as good and as involved as it is now, if I can still get on and message Cars and Bids and get a response within a few minutes, then you got a 9 or a 10 because it really is amazing to be able to do that. I just don't know how scalable it is. And I know Doug has been planning this site for a really long time, so maybe he's got a plan to scale that up as the site grows. But so far, our customer service is great, and if it stays that way, I think this site could easily be one of the best places to sell a car on the internet. And then the biggest question of this whole thing is, will I use Cars and Bids again? And I think it's a resounding yes, absolutely. The customer service is really, really great. The platform is really cool, and I may end up even buying some cars on there as well. I've found myself going and checking it every couple of days just to see what's on there, and they get some very unique and cool stuff. If you've got a car that's going to be hard to find a market for where you are, I think it's a no-brainer. Thank you so much, Cars and Bids, for everything that you're doing for the automotive community. Thank you for helping me sell my car. Thank you for treating me like a valued customer the whole process and answering all of my questions that I asked throughout the whole thing. You guys are really great. Thank you guys for watching this video, the people that are viewing this, and I hope this was helpful for you. If you're interested in weird, quirky cars, I build lots of them. I've got this MGB that we're going to be wide body, and those wheels that I showed you a minute ago are going on it very soon. I've got a wide body, if you want to call it wide body fender flared, I don't know, people get real bent out of shape about that. But the Corolla, it's wider than, the body is wider than stock, so I don't know, whatever you want to call it, that's what it is, and we built that on the channel. You can check that out. I'll leave some links or something at the end of the video. And then also the MR2, the whole build for that car is on my channel. Oh, and I did a wide body Audi that we gave away as well. Did a full like Group B style livery on it. That's on the channel as well. So if you found this searching for Cars and Bid stuff and you're interested in wide body cars, check out my channel. There's links to all that stuff that I mentioned, and I'd love to have you be part of the built community. We'll see you guys in the next one.
This. All right, keep it together. This. One more time. All right, we got this. This.